Hello guys, NautoAisDx here once again, and this is going to be a vlog on the final beta phase for Street Fighter V. But before I want to give my thoughts on it, really there's nothing much, but basically what I think about the game in general, again more the future of the game franchise, what's going to happen to the previous one. I want to give my thoughts about it, but before that I just want to give some tidbit here about things of what's happening, and for a newcomer who basically started Street Fighter V as their new game. And if you've ever been watching a lot of like Twitch streaming related to any Street Fighter game, whether it's Street Fighter 3, 4, or 5, I want to give a lot of this thoughts about it, kind of give an explanation like what's going on. And here's a disclaimer first. One, I like fighting games. I do enjoy playing fighting games with friends. However, I'm a casual gamer when playing fighting games. I don't take it seriously. And again, I'm going to say this again, just a note. I'm not part of the FGC. No offense, nor I am interested to be part of the FGC. I like fighting games, but I'm not FGC. Okay, that's a disclaimer. On to what's going on. So the first thing is, if you're on YouTube, you gotta notice, or basically in Twitch, you gotta notice some people are getting early copies of the game. And you're saying, wait, they're not IGN, they're not GameSpot, they're not the Giant Bomb, they're not, the review's not even up, but a lot of these people, they're getting early games. What's going on? That's not right. I mean, example, I think when I part my head, top of my head is Miles923. Yesterday, he just did a streaming, a retail copy for the PC Street Fighter V. So like, wait, whoa, that's not fair. Okay, first of all, here's the thing about people getting early access review copy. The thing is, yes, it's not just IGN, GameSpot, Giant Bomb, Kotaku, you name it. It's not just those organizations that people well known, but there are some people who basically contribute a lot to the company themselves, and no, not to quote unquote kiss their, sorry to say this word, their ass, because they love the game so much, and they showed it by what they're doing. So the example I'm going to use for this one is, Miles923, aka Maximilian Dude. The guy is FGC. The guy's part of the FGC. The guy's well known, and not to anyone, he didn't do it because he wanted to get famous. He just got famous for something that he was a passion for. Same thing with PewDiePie. Same thing with the AVGN. Same thing with, well, I'm going to go even a bit lower, Big Al. They didn't do it so they can be famous. They did it because they want to do what they did, and people followed them, and they created a fan base. You know, unfortunately, not everyone has a big fan base. Look at me. I love the people who are interested in what I'm doing. Thank you, my subscriber. People are interested. Gamers who are interested in what I'm doing. Thank you very much. But I'm not that big. But, it doesn't matter. That's not the point. You don't go to YouTube for being famous. Miles923 just became famous for what he'd been contributing, namely fighting games. So, yes, he did get an early PC copy of Street Fighter V at retail, but of course he has embargo. He can only do the versus mode. Like, how does he? Why him? Why not Johnny B. Bad or Hulk Hogan, or not Hulk Hogan? Let's just make up a thing. Johnny Apple or Billy Orange or whoever. Because Capcom know who the guy is. He's well known. He became well known for his contribution, not for fame, for contribution. Remember, one of the games he loves was Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And with his own budget, with his own money, with his own project. He, of course, had a permission with Capcom to some extent. He did his own YouTube series called Assist Me, which is a comedy / teaching new gamer how to get into the game. That's what Miles is. That's 2-3. That's what his channel is all about. To introduce new people, new gamer, to sign up to the fighting game. Maybe they're interested in the FGC. Unlike myself, I'm not. Different story. So yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people. They're well known that they're gonna, they trust the guy. They trust and say, hey, hey, you get a free copy. Just follow rule, because he's not just. There's a lot of people. I mean, believe it or not, Salmon the Geek. He's a friend of MmGS X1, which I follow. He also gets a review copy because he's legit. People said he's so legit. I'll put another one that's even lower that I follow. I'm a big supporter of. Gamer Horizon. Yeah, some game company, believe it or not, recognized them as a legit gaming organization or group. It's not into profit. It's something that they wanted to do, and they said, "Hey, cool. Can anybody do it?" Yes and no. Basically, you have to prove yourself, because there have been stories when you're sort of big, but they still don't trust you. I remember in Twitter, a guy who actually works with Game Horizon, I don't know if he still does, a good friend of Alex and the Game Horizon gang, or, of course, he's former, but you know what I'm getting at here. I forgot his name, I do apologize, but it's JPC Slasher, that's his name. I think he was known for reviewing horror games. I heard he's a fan of Far Cry, and he did review a lot of the Far Cry, again, not for fame, because he just loved the game. He wanted to give his opinion about it. And again, there was some, and from what I heard in the past, I could be wrong. It could be this is a rumor that I heard, a scoop that I heard, but again, it could be wrong. Ubisoft in the past gave him a review copy of the Far Cry series. Until Ubisoft have some changes, what's happening. And what happened was, I think when Far Cry 4 came out, JP Slasher did ask them if you could get a review copy for Far Cry 4. And then unfortunately the response was, oh, well, we evaluated what you do and your contribution. We don't think you're that big. I think there was even some, like, crossing the line. They said, yeah, we think you're just doing what you want, a free game. You're not really that popular. Sorry, we're not going to give you a review copy of Far Cry 4. Well, thanks if you're interested. You can buy the game when it comes out, blah, blah, blah. And I heard there was a little bit of insults there. That's why even JP Slasher basically went to Twitter and said, yeah, Ubisoft, real mature. Because from what I heard, when Ubisoft changed their business, there were some changes. I guess the new people just didn't believe on JPC Slasher. Slasher, excuse me. And they just refused to give him a copy. That happens. So, but again, like I said, it could be also that Peter Combofin Rosas is a good friend of Maximilian. But again, you have to understand, Miles 923 is well famous when it comes to, besides Killer Instinct, but Capcom. There you go. He loved Capcom. He even did assist me on Smash Brothers. But I know from Capcom related was Marvel vs. Capcom Origin. Yeah, he loves Capcom. He loves Street Fighter. And he did it for passion. He didn't do it for fame. And that passion paid off, so now he gets free access. That's how you go. If you want to be part of something, show that you really like the game that you want to support. That's what Miles 923 always say. If you want people to support, like say King of Fighter 13, do it yourself. Don't let someone else do it. Just keep doing what you want to do. Sooner or later, it will get big. Maybe might, but of course it will. Have patience. If it's still not going anywhere, never give up. Just keep doing. So there you go. That's my thoughts about that part when people get free copies. I know sometimes you can. I myself, I have to admit, sometimes I get jelly, but that's what it is. If you want to access, you want to take it seriously, you want to be proven. Email the company, say I like what you guys do. Hey, I can. If you give me a free copy, I'll give you a review, I'll give you a showcase, I'll give you a preview, whatever, so I can give the word out. That's, you get early access. That's really sometimes how you go, but there's other things. Want to know about it, you can always go to Google and just find more information there. Just saying there, hopefully that helped for someone who kind of like is not in the know, like what's going on, how come people getting early access of this game, because I'm seeing a lot of people on Twitch they're getting early access to the game. Some are legit, from what I heard. Some are illegally, like Mortal Kombat X per se, but it's a different story. But as for Miles923, yes, he was given a review code for the PC version of Street Fighter V, because again, he earned it. There you go. And another one here is Street Fighter lingo. If you've been watching, let's just say anything, again, Twitch related to Street Fighter, some people you'll hear this certain phrase that comes out for names. Boxer, Claw, Dictator. Yeah, when I heard that first, I'm like, man, that's gonna, and I mean, personally for me, nothing personal, it's kinda annoying, like, Boxer? Just call it Balrog. Or Dictator? Come on, just call it M. Bison. That's what the name, anyway. Vega, Claw. Why Claw? Oh, yeah, of course he has a claw. Yeah, I mean, the first time I heard about this was with Spooky, believe it or not. And when I said, I'm like, God, that's annoying, calling it Boxer, Dictator, Claw. Dude, just call him what the name it is. That's really, my, again, personal opinion, nothing personal. It's annoying. Claw, Boxer. But again, if you're hearing those words and you don't know why, and if you're new to Street Fighter or you don't know really the history of it, you can Google it, but I'll explain it here. Is that because in Japan they do actually have different name for those three. In Japan, the boxer Balrog is called M. Bison. There again, it is a parody to Mike Tyson. That's Mike Bison, and another teaser in Street Fighter 1 in the USA stage after he defeated Joe. The second guy is Mike. Yeah, that's Balrog. Technically, it is Balrog, but because of the confusion name, people didn't really see that until later on. And then for Vega, in America, he's the claw guy, but in Japan, they call him Balrog. And then M. Bison, the dictator, the power with the Psycho Crusher, in Japan, they call him Vega. Alright, so he said, well, fine. Well, we're American. If you're American, if FGC American, why don't you call him them? Well, first of all, FGC is not American. FGC is world. That means there are people from, well, South America, Australia, Europe, Asia, like Japan, China, or Japan, not China, excuse me, Japan, Taiwan, but it's a Street Fighter is a world thing, it's a world pop culture. Everybody knew when you say Street Fighter 2, you know what it is. So that's what it is. But they start using this term when the FGC sort of went underground, but they also they went underground and FGCs from different countries, they band together to create this community. So again, FGC basically, if you don't know what it stands for, Fighting Game Community. People from around the world who love to play fighting games, this is it. They do have their lingo. Again, if you want to know more, Google it. But EventHub and ShoreYouCan.com also have link. They got some terminology in there. You can just search for it. So yeah, I mean, personally, again, like I said, it's annoying, but for the sake of it, because some people do get confused, to avoid confusion, they just call Balrog or M. Bison in Japan the boxer. That's why Boxer. Again, annoying, because it's obvious, he is a boxer, but again, to prevent confusion, because sometimes I heard there have been a situation when people from Japan, they're talking to people from America, they're talking about Street Fighter 2, and then when they use the name, they kind of get confused because of the name. So they decided to make a universal lingo. So they just call Balrog, Bison, Boxer. Vega, Balrog, Claw, and Bison, Vega, Dictator. It is kind of annoying, but again, MGC, they're going to be using that. Am I going to be using it for me? Personally, again, like I said, I'm not the FGC, so yeah, I'm not going to use that term. I'm going to call them, because since I'm from America, I'm just going to call them the American name. That's what it is. Unless they finally change it, such as like Charlie Nash. Technically his name is Charlie Nash in America. For a while they called him Charlie. In Japan was Nash. Thank goodness they just finally said, you know what, we're just going to call you Nash, since Colonel William Guile, Charlie Nash. So it makes sense. So Charlie Nash, so Nash, use his last name. So good move for their Ono. And in the case with Akuma and Goki, I think, from what I heard, people already knew that. And yeah, people already knew that, so that was cool. That, yeah, when people, I know Takedo even knew that Akuma is called Goku, so sweet. So yeah, but anyway, yeah, it is, you know, if you're not FGC, you don't have to follow it, but you just have to keep it in the back of your head that, yeah, is that some people are gonna refer to them as boxer, claw, and dictator. Annoying maybe, but you gotta stick with it. You gotta have to, you know, if you wanna watch, if you wanna join the FGC, you're gonna have to get used to that lingo because they're gonna be using that. And if you're watching Street Fighter Twitch streaming, they're gonna be using that because remember, Vega and Bison and the DLC Balrog is gonna be in Street Fighter 5. Those three, so get used to hearing them calling them boxer, claw, and dictator. So that's basically like a tidbit of Street Fighter 5 related. The next video is gonna be my thoughts on Street Fighter 5, the final beta phase.